Hello everyone on YouTube. If you see this video, it's because you typed the words that I put on the search, which is caps pump failure, or Cummins 8.3 ISC engine making oil or mixing diesel with oil. Or I'm going to put it this way too. Cummins ISC 8.3 oil level rising, so something like that. So anyways, I'm going to make this quick. First of all, the first thing I did was pull the injectors. They're right there, and check for the O-rings. Make sure they're not busted, because you know that you have the, if you've watched the videos on other videos on YouTube, you see the caps pump return lines on the head. They return and they are sealed by this little O-ring here and this one here. So if this one was busted, the oil would come out outside, external. You see the leak outside. If this one was busted, you would cause that problem, which was mixing diesel with my engine oil. And with that, you check your level in the morning, you drive the truck half a day, then you check your level again, you have like 2 inches higher in your stick. In my case, it started really slow, and I noticed the oil pressure coming lower, and I don't know where I saw oil puking out of the blow-by tube, and I thought the engine was gone. I thought it was a ring that was broken. Well, turned out it was not it. I did an oil change, put the correct amount of oil on it, because when I drained like 7.5 gallons of oil. The correct amount for this motor is 5.5 gallons with the filter. If you're just doing oil, it's only 5 gallons, right on a dot. So that's what I did. I did an oil change, went for a drive, and it was perfect. Driving for a half a day, it started puking oil again, and then I figured out I was having a mix situation, oil, diesel coming into the engine oil, and decided to kind of dig into it. Me and my buddy, John, we decided to take this apart and figure out what was wrong. Like I say, it was not injectors. So we figured out what was wrong. Here's the pump. It's called CAPS pump. CAPS pump, this is a mechanical pump. No electronics on injectors. It does have electronics on the high pressure module. It has some solenoids, some stuff. It's timed electronically, something like that. But to keep it simple and keep this short, what happened to this is the pump disassembler. This goes into this, and this goes into this, and then we have the high pressure module on top. What happened is this little pin right here broke, which goes in here, just like, you see this one right here, which you can see outside. See the one that's missing? That's the one, the hole right there. So that pin broke, and it twisted this roller here. I'm not sure how to call this. I'm going to call it a piston that holds the spring. But you see what happened to it? It made a mess. Because instead of being like this, because you see this little groove, that's what that pin guides. So it was sideways like this, and it damaged the cam. You can see the cam is all messed up. I'm calling it a cam. Yeah, that's what it is, a cam. So it turned sideways, and it broke the spring, and it made this whole thing work sideways, causing damage to the accumulator module, which is in my vise on the other side. I'm going to show you in a second. Nothing wrong here, nothing wrong here. We took it apart just to kind of figure out what was it, because we thought this seal here failed, and it was puking oil, diesel into the oil, which is not the case. It could be, but it was not it. This housing right here, this bearing and this cam, is lubricated by engine oil. Engine oil comes in through this little hole into here, which dumps right there on the side. You can't see it, but it's right here. And it fills out this chamber here with, not a chamber, this housing with engine oil. And then the oil just drains through the bearing back into the motor. So what happened is the high pressure module that goes on top of this has a lot of diesel with a lot of pressure. I'm going to show you that. And this broken spring caused damage to that thing, and it started puking high pressure diesel into the engine oil right here, and it would drain back to the motor, and that's where everything was mixing. It took us a little bit to figure that out. That's why I decided to do this video. Because if you type all those words I said in the beginning, you're gonna find the situation. So here is what happened. So this is my accumulator high pressure module. That's what they called, I think. If you watch the video, you get all the correct terms. Right here in these two holes, this thing here, I have four. You only have two on that, but I bought one out of eBay, cheap, just to get parts out of it because I'm gonna fix this one. And I took them out. So this thing here goes on top of the pump, and that roller thing that I showed there pushes this little piston, which creates builds up pressure up to 15,000 pounds, and then pushes into the distributor, then it goes into your injectors, and kaboom, you have an explosion, and that's how your engine runs. So that spring broke, and it was on top of that cam housing, and and you know, it did all this damage. You see this crack right here? This is where, let me focus it. This crack here is all where my diesel was coming in, because you have a high pressure in here. See this right here goes inside of this like this, and this right here, whenever the solenoid it's powered, the solenoid goes on the other side. This one right here, this solenoid is powered. It releases the diesel to go into the distributor and goes into your injectors. To figure out how the CAPS pump works, you can always put the CAPS pump how it works on YouTube, and you see a video there. There's a very good video that shows everything. That's how I kind of got to this, because that video. But anyways, so diesel, that shaft will go inside of this and up and down, and you build that pressure and push the high pressure diesel into this. It's a little hole on the module right there. But anyways, this is, you know, where all the damage happened. So some people say just replace your module, because I don't think you can buy this. You might be able to. But you know, this was my problem. The leaking was coming from there, out of here, into the cam housing, and making all that mess. So if you are there and you think you're lost because you can't figure out where that leak is coming from, it's three places it could be leaking from. It's either your high pressure module, like we have here, your O-rings on your injectors, or you can have a crack on the fuel return line in the head, which is very unusual to crack, but it's possible. If you have an overheating situation, it might happen. So like I say, I'm not a mechanic. I'm just mechanic inclined. We just play around here with some race cars, some drift cars, and this right here was my little project. I'm very happy that we found out what the problem was, and hopefully this helps anyone out there that needs guidance on a CAPS pump on a Cummins. This is a 2003 Peterbilt. I know this motor comes in a lot of applications. This is a 330 horsepower Cummins 8.3 ISC, which I think the C stands for CAPS. I might be wrong. All right, y'all have a good one. Enjoy it, and like the video if you like it. If you don't, you don't. I'm not a YouTuber. Have a good one.